Blackness consumes the once colorful space. Giselle still stands before me, as she did within the door, but I struggle to reconcile the two scenes. They are both real. They are both her. The lively, spunky girl of the past and the lifeless girl of the present are both Giselle. As different as they seem, they are both her.
Why don't we stop there? It was a wonderful story. They overcame their troubles and lived happily ever after. Is that not good enough? It could not be worse than where we are now. All we have to do then is erase the now. Throw everything away and start over from where it was better.
You were able to bear them because they weren't your tragedies. I don't like it when things do that, when someone who wouldn't say that written slang, like bear 'em, quotes someone who said it exactly. Or the opposite, when someone who speaks informally, like Ryuji in Persona 5, uses commas correctly when texting. Uses all the correct grammar and syntax. I don't like it there. I don't like it when someone who uses all the correct grammar and syntax quotes someone as not doing that. Michelle here would have thought you were able to bear them because they weren't your tragedies. And that goes for more than just me. Actually, as a matter of fact, those words apply even better to her than me.
The ending is already set in stone. It's already happened. What point is there in watching it again?
God, fuck. Oh, I wish I could go back. Those eyes in that moment, man. They fucking... They like rip right to the center of me.
All that accomplishes is making me relive it all.
The ending has not been written. We are both here now, which means our end still lies ahead of us. There they are. Oh my god.
Then, can I ask you to promise not to let go of my hand, no matter what? No matter what happens, you mustn't let go of my hand.
No, I understand. That was a request, even if she didn't perceive it as such. In place of a verbal response, I squeeze her hand in mine. I know where this tale is heading. Toward tragedy. All the other doors we visited ended in tragedy, and ours is no exception. But perhaps what's waiting at the end of this one is even more dire than I imagine. The door to our past swings open once more, behind which lies the end of me and the beginning of her. This story's fucking insane, and I love it. Oh. That fucking hold on the dark background for just a moment longer. A month had passed since the night with the rose. Right on schedule, the monthly delivery arrived, but it was in a letter that would dramatically change our lives. But in it was a letter that would dramatically change our lives. My father, Antonin, had fallen ill and died. I presumed it was the witch's doing, but she was silent, refusing to respond to my questions. If it wasn't her, then he must have died naturally. It seemed more than a little tasteless to celebrate someone's death, but good taste and reality do not always agree. I was extremely relieved to hear the news. The man had raped Giselle. He had tried to have me killed, and now he was gone from this world. I had been waiting for this moment for years. His passing had another effect as well. My death could be revoked. Many years ago, my brother had told me that when he succeeded our father, he would welcome me back to the Bollinger estate, and I could be part of the family once more, which meant this letter signaled the end of my banishment. Not sure how to feel about it?
Yeah, rejoicing doesn't seem really appropriate. But this means you can return home now, right?
In theory. My brother is set to take control of the estate, so he should be accommodating. I'm going to write a letter, have them send us a carriage. It is much too long a distance to walk.
All right. I'm excited. What should we do first when we get back to the capital? Oh, I know. How about you stop by my place? My mom and sister won't believe their eyes.
My time in this mansion was almost at its end. The future I had only vaguely envisioned was now within my reach. I had always spoken of this moment predicated with eventually, like it was some kind of unobtainable fantasy. But now that it was practically a reality, I realized I hadn't actually given it much thought.
Hey, are you still awake?
I am.
Not a great night for sleeping, huh? Are you thinking about your family?
It all seems so surreal.
Yeah, it does. This house is like a desert island, cut off from the world, which makes everything feel kind of like a fairy tale sometimes. Even what we have.
From time to time, I get the feeling that nothing is real, that the outside world is just a figment of my imagination, that my entire life only ever existed within these walls.
Are you nervous?
Maybe I am. I always thought that when this day arrived, it would be more cathartic. I'm sorry. I'm finally able to take you back to the capital, and I can't seem to get past my own negativity.
It's only natural to be nervous. I am too. I haven't spent nearly as long as you living in this mansion, but I know how you feel because I feel the same way. Not knowing what the future holds, it's scary. I was thinking I would be okay with staying. I mean, I would love to return to the capital and I miss my family dearly. But even if I never get to see them again, in no way would I consider myself unhappy. I honestly think I've got a pretty wonderful life.
If you're not comfortable going back to that house, and you're just saying you'll endure it for me, Giselle, there are other paths we can take. You could live with your family, or you could remain here in the mansion.
Not at all, no. I want to. No matter where I go, you'll be there with me, Michelle. It's true, I am nervous not knowing what the future holds. But not in a scared something bad might happen kind of way. It's more of a jittery, excited anxiousness. I'm confident the two of us can overcome anything, no matter what obstacles may come our way. Together, we can create an even more wonderful future. Don't worry, Michelle. The future's nothing to be afraid of.
You make it sound like I'm paralyzed with fear.
But you are, aren't you? Hey now, don't give me that look.
Once again, she's the one pushing me forward. I will make sure you have a good, happy life.
Thank you.
What?
Nothing. I'm feeling kind of sentimental, thinking about how we've only got a little time left here. It wasn't perfect, but it was an important part of my life.
Indeed.
Say.
Yes?
Well, I think I could handle it right now, probably.
It?
Oh, use your head, you little...
I don't follow.
Ugh, how can you be so dense? I mean, touching and so forth. Take the next step. I'm saying I'm feeling up for that right now. It's not proper for a woman to bring up that subject, is it? But I did kind of ask you to wait, and I feel bad leading you on for so long. Yeah, I'm sorry.
You're shaking.
I'm just really emotional, that's all.
You don't need to force yourself if you're not ready. I can wait as long as you need. Besides? Never mind. It's fine. There's no need to rush things. You don't need to worry.
Yeah. Oh, Michelle.
I wrote 2 letters. One to my brother, and one to my mother. One so Giselle could return, and one so I could be myself, to demonstrate who I was. I had to prove that I was not cursed, for failing to do that would not only bring her grief, it might become the final crack in the identity I had built up for myself. I had to convince her that I was neither demon nor angel, but a human man who had fallen in love with a human woman. Fallen in love. I should have enunciated that better. However, I was too foolish to realize that the future I envisioned was nothing but a fantasy. Had I been able to grasp that, then maybe I could have taken her somewhere far away, where no one knew who we were, where things might have turned out differently.
It's been really foggy out lately. I'd rather if we left when it was clear. It would be terrible if the coachman rolled the carriage because he couldn't see where we were going. Rolled the carriage. If there wasn't so much fog, I would probably have been able to see the little columns of orange evening sunlight fighting their way through the trees. But the milky white mist seemed to swallow up all the light, leaving nothing for the surrounding area. It was rather dreary weather. I wonder when they'll be here. Although, if they never do show up, that's okay too. I was finally able to return to the capital with Michelle, to see my family again. And that was wonderful. It was like a dream come true. But it wouldn't disappoint me if that didn't end up happening. I didn't care where I ended up, as long as Michelle was there with me. That's all that matters. I should probably close the windows. The coach isn't likely to show up at night, I don't think. I reached my hands out to shut a window, which is when I saw something wavering beyond the heavy mist. Light? And it wasn't just one. Looking closer revealed several more flickering spots. They moved up and down, slowly but rhythmically. As more and more came into my view, my mind began seeing them as people carrying torches. They're coming this way? Could they be our escorts back to the capital? Though... What? As soon as the thought, there sure are a lot, popped up into my head, something whizzed past my cheeks. What? Huh? What was... Huh? Why? What? It was an arrow.
Giselle!
What? The arrow had flown through the window and pierced the opposite wall. Had Michelle not knocked me out of the way?
Giselle, are you okay?
I'm fine. But what's going on?
Never mind that. Right now we need to run.
Huh? Wait, Michelle!
Now! There's no time to talk. Stay out of sight of the windows.
Got it! He grabbed my hand and broke into a run. A relentless storm of arrows showered through the windows we had worked so hard to get open a year ago. Oh, sorry if you heard my stomach rumbling. This wasn't what we had gone through all that effort for. Oh, I'm hungry.
Once I open the front door, run! We have to get as far from this house as quickly as we can. What? We have to get as far... Yeah.
What was happening? Why did we have to run? Why were those people firing arrows at us? With the wave of questions came a wave of fear. I couldn't say anything. The sheer terror had frozen my jaw in place.
Get ready!
I nodded, squeezing his hand tight. I knew it would just be another obstacle to his safe escape, but I didn't want to let go of his hand.
Oh, that hit. It's hard.
I was afraid that if I did, I would never be able to hold it again.
Fuck me, man. Oh. Are you all right?
I'm fine. But how? There are people out front, too?
Damn it. Why?
Several arrows were sticking out of the floor before us. Beyond the door, which Michelle had managed to shut almost immediately, rang a cacophony of whoosh, thump, whoosh, thump. We can't escape? Why? What's going on?
Damn it!
With a deep scowl, Michelle barred the door, and all the while the arrows kept flying. The panic in the air kept growing thicker. I don't understand. How did they... only a handful of people even know about this... This is all my fault. It's because I told the villagers about this place. They think a demon lives here, not a human. Not a human. So they're here to tear down the house. They made weapons, bows, just for this.
I don't...
There was a deep rumble, and the ground below us shook. I almost fell to the floor.
They're trying to break down the door, it seems.
Michelle, I'm so sorry. This is all my fault. Because of what I did.
No.
What?
It's not your fault. It's mine.
Michelle?
I challenged her. And because I did, she made my curse real.
What are you talking about, Michelle?
This way, run!
Michelle dragged me through the mansion's corridors until we reached the chamber with the stained glass window. At the far end of the room sat a small door. Where does it lead? I had been aware of the door's presence, but I had never gone inside it. Something about it seemed somewhat different than the rest of the house. I wasn't sure how to describe it exactly, but it felt like shadows had taken root here.
The observation tower.
A tower? But if we go up there, we're putting ourselves in a corner.
It doesn't matter where we go, they have us trapped. But there's a chance that up here...
He didn't finish that thought, however. He opened the door, leading me into the tower, his face deathly pale. We started running again, around and around the spiral staircase, making our way toward the top. In regular intervals along the wall were rectangular windows. A layer of fog still lay thick across the land. Peering out into it made me feel like we had been thrown into a dream world. If it weren't for the orange spots of torchlight surrounding the mansion. What? If it weren't for... the silhouettes holding the torches. Is that armor? Appeared to be knights. Michelle, tell me, why do you think this is your fault? What is your curse? Your curse, it isn't just the color of your hair and eyes, is it? There's more to it, isn't there? There's something else, isn't there? Michelle's gaze was firmly directed forward as he frantically led me up the stairs. We were breathing hard, and the sound of it echoed against the tower's stone walls. Our panicked hearts were beating so hard, I was afraid they might be able to hear it outside. Eventually, we made it to the top. A pile of discarded robe lay unceremoniously at the foot of the door, presumably once used to seal it shut. Rope. Did I say robe? Rope. The door itself was deeply weathered and rotting in places. It had obviously been left sitting in disrepair even longer than Michelle had lived there. What is this?
Inside!
Frigid air nipped at my skin, and it wasn't a pleasant, refreshing kind of cool, but a bitter, oppressive cold. This room felt unlike any other in the mansion. This is an observation tower? But you can't even...
There once would have been windows, allowing you to see in all directions around the mansion, but all that remains now is that tiny opening near the ceiling. If we hide out here, then there's a chance they might not find us. It sounds like they broke down the door. Don't worry, they won't find us. And when they give up their search, then we can get out of here. I'm sure it will all turn out all right.
Michelle's voice was quivering, as was his hand in mine. Michelle. We huddled together, feeling each other's warmth in our arms, my free hand clenching his shirt for dear life.
I'm sorry.
What?
I'm to blame for this. It's my fault you're in this mess. The pain you had to experience, your being sent to this place, and what's happening now can all be traced back to my being born. I'm so sorry.
Why was he apologizing? Why did he insist that this was his fault? Why wouldn't he tell me what his curse was? Why were people trying to kill us? Right. Those people were trying to kill us. Putting it into words like that made the fear that much more real. The arrows they fired weren't threats. They meant to kill us. Michelle. But with Michelle trembling in my arms, I couldn't bring myself to ask those questions. What meaning would those answers even have with death lurking so close behind us? All I could do was pray. Pray that he was right, that they wouldn't find us, and we would be able to escape. However...
Over here! There's a door, and stairs leading up.
My hopes were shattered by the sound of voices from below. I could hear a faint clanking of armor. Our grips on each other tightened, and our trembling intensified. Fear swelled within the tower, making us its slaves. Giselle. We were both terrified, and who wouldn't be? Fairy tale heroes could be magically courageous in the face of overwhelming danger, but they weren't real. And the fear of my impending death, drawing nearer and nearer with each passing moment, almost drove me to madness. I couldn't think clearly. My heart was having trouble keeping up. My head was a big white mess. We were supposed to return to the capital, start a new life, finally obtain our happiness. It was right there at our fingertips. Enough happiness to make up for Michelle's 10 years of isolation, and enough to erase that nightmare from my memory forever. What had we done to have that taken away from us? We just loved each other and wanted a quiet life together. Nothing outrageous. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. But what scared me the most was being separated from Michelle. Hey, Michelle. What are those people really doing here? If what they're after is money or valuables, we could offer them everything in the mansion. We don't need any of it. If they don't want us to return to the capital, we can tell them we'll stay here. They might be willing to talk it over. I don't care if I lose everything else. As long as I have you, I can survive anywhere. All that mattered was that we had our lives, so long as the two of us still breathed. But...
Death. Death to the unholy one. Death to the heretic. Death to the witch.
Despair hung over us like the fog outside. There were no heretics, no witches, no unholy ones here. But they would probably never listen to us. The moment we stepped outside this room, we would be dead, no matter what he said. Michelle, I'm all right. It's okay, Michelle. I'm not scared. You're here with me after all. I'm fine. It's all fine. So please hold me. Please stay with me.
Finally, you speak.
Michelle? He wasn't looking at me, though. His unfocused eyes were directed upward, not toward any particular point, but wandering aimlessly. His purplish lips appeared to move as though he was speaking, but no sound came out. Hey, Michelle, are you all right? Come back to me, Michelle. I grabbed him by the shoulders and shook, but he didn't even seem to notice. No matter how many times I called to him, he didn't look down from the emptiness above. Michelle!
Giselle.
Finally, after far too long, his gaze slid down to meet mine. He looked defeated, exhausted, and cornered all at once. I was scared too, but his fear seemed to have consumed him entirely.
Please hear me out, Giselle. I never thought anything good would become of my life. I never thought I would find anyone who truly understood me, who would be happy to have my love. And for that, I hated the world. I was in constant torment, living in the shadows. But then, a single ray of light shone down on me.
Michelle.
You, Giselle. You delivered me from the darkness. I'm scared, Giselle. I'm terrified. I used to think my life was meaningless, that it didn't matter if I lived or died. But now, I can't stop shaking.
That's perfectly normal. I'm scared to death too, but
what scares me most is losing you.
Michelle, I should have noticed. Noticed his arms were tensing up. Noticed and stopped him.
So please, allow me to repay you. I said I would do anything for you, so let me do this. I haven't given you anything. I haven't done anything for you. So give me one final chance.
Michelle!
Oh, that art, man.
What are you doing? Get back in here, Michelle! What? Why? The door! I can't open it! I shoved on the door, trying to go after him. But it wouldn't budge even the slightest bit. It was as though there was never a door here at all, merely a wall disguised as one. It wasn't someone holding it shut from the other side either. I pushed and I pulled with all my might, but I couldn't even manage to eke out the tiniest crack. Michelle! Michelle! What did you do to the door? Come on, get back in here! I don't want to lose you either! Say something, Michelle! You're out there, aren't you? Please! Please don't do anything rash! They're going to kill you if you're out there!
Giselle, the witch told me.
What?
That she would ensure your safety.
Michelle, she isn't real! There is no witch talking to you! It's all in your head! A figment of your imagination created to alleviate your loneliness!
Rest assured, she does not lie.
Michelle!
Please listen. You are a wonderful woman, Giselle. Spirited, true to yourself, deeply sympathetic. You are not to blame for how difficult your life has been. Most of the fault lies with me, and a bit of bad fortune. But that's all behind you now. Once this is over, you can start anew.
What are you talking about?
So, survive. Live a good, fulfilling life. Move past this. Live your life. And always love your family. I know you can do it. That is my wish for you.
No, I don't want that. I want to be with you. No one else but you.
I don't want to let you die. There it is. Death to the heretic. Death to the heretic! Death to the heretic!
Get back in here, Michelle! Open the door! If my chance is to live on without you, I'd rather... My choice.
Your scars will heal. You'll find a nice man and have a wonderful family.
What?
Thank you, Giselle, for bringing light to my world.
Don't say that!
But if there is a next life, I hope you don't mind if I pray that we're able to meet again. That we can find each other once more in another world.
Michelle!
Michelle. It is our holy duty as knights of the church to deliver punishment unto the heathen who made a pact with the devil.
Come on, Michelle! Open the door!
You are sentenced to death. Your body will be hanged upon the cross for 3 days and 3 nights, wherein your unholy flesh shall be purified by the fires of heaven.
Why? What are you doing here?
Open the door, Michelle, please! Listen to me! You can hear me out there, can't you?
You shall now be executed. Do you have any final words?
Who is it you're sentencing to death? Michelle Bollinger, or...
A demon child, naturally. Or a witch, perhaps.
Please open the door! Why won't you open it? He isn't unholy or impure. He's a perfectly normal human and a very sweet man. Yes, I'm the witch. The witch is in here. I'm the one you want to execute. Kill me. Execute me!
Now I see. Giselle. This world.
Kill him!
So many blades pierced my flesh. A sword in my chest, lances in my arms and shoulders, arrows in both of my legs. I could hardly even tell what hurt anymore. There was an unpleasant hiss sound in the tower, almost like a heavy rain. It was the sound of my blood spilling onto the stone. Red. It was red, just like anyone else's blood. It didn't flow into unnatural patterns. It didn't turn into black, demonic shadows. It didn't cause anyone who touched it harm. It was just ordinary red blood. Regardless, this body was probably still cursed. It had to be. I couldn't hear Giselle's voice anymore. I hoped she was safe and alive. I prayed that at least she would be protected, that the witch would keep her promise. It was getting dark. Light was quickly departing from my world. Darkness everlasting dragged me down into its pits. I believed in you.
Michelle? Michelle! Hey! Say something! Talk to me! Hey! What's going on? What's going on here? No. This can't be happening. An impossibly heavy thud came from beyond the door, and with it, Michelle fell silent. Then, intermittent squelching sounds as something slid down the door. No! This can't be. Why? Why? I pounded on the door with all my strength, but it still refused to give. The skin on my hands eventually going raw and beginning to seep blood. Why? Why should Michelle have to be killed? Tell me why! Take me with you! Please don't leave me behind! That man isn't a witch! He isn't cursed! I'm cursed, not him, so don't hang him! Don't humiliate him like that! Kill me instead! Please! Again and again and again I pounded on the door, but the self-described knights on the other side seemed to not even be aware of my presence. They seemed unable to hear my cries. Their armor clanking with each step, they began to descend the staircase, and with it, I could hear the sound of something being dragged slowly across the floor. No, don't take him away! Stop! Don't take Michelle away from me! I'm begging you! But my pleas were in vain. My hope was for naught. The knights took him away. Took him somewhere out of my reach. For all eternity. Don't take him away from me!
Oh.
Misha. After much too long, the door swung open all on its own. It happened so unceremoniously, it was hard to believe I had actually been trapped inside. I had no idea how much time had passed, but the chill in the air seemed to suggest it was deep into the night. And with the biting cold, there was the stench of blood.
Oh, I think this might be probably like top 3 pieces of art in this whole game for me. My God, that is a fucking powerful image.
Why? What? Michelle! I never wanted this. You didn't understand at all, Michelle. You didn't know the depth of my feelings for you. You didn't know how intensely I wanted you. How fervently I loved you. I was never going to be able to find someone else and live happily with them. It had to be you. The thought of anyone else touching me terrified me. You just didn't understand. I don't want to live in this stupid world. The time I spent with you truly was the happiest time of my life.